Drayton Hall is a world-class site. We're a property of the National Trust for Historic Preservation, a private nonprofit organization which has owned the property since 1974. But what makes Drayton Hall special really are two things. One is the architecture of the main house, and that it's principally unaltered since its construction in the 1740s, early 1750s. The Draytons owned it for 7 succeeding generations and made minimal changes in that house, and it's the first fully executed example of Georgian Palladian architecture in America. And that's sort of a long word, but that means really just it's one of the finest examples of colonial architecture to have survived in America. And you'll see, I hope you'll be able to see the watercolor that we have of that house that does show its original 5-part plan, which was derived from the designs of Andrea Palladio, the Italian Renaissance architect. The second attribute of Drayton Hall that makes it so special is the fact that it's been so remarkably preserved over the last 250 years. Through the 7 generations of Drayton ownership, they made few changes to the house. And when the National Trust for Historic Preservation acquired the property in 1974 from the Draytons, they decided to follow what was at the time a radical approach, which was not to restore the house to a particular period as at Mount Vernon or Monticello, or not to reconstruct the site as at Williamsburg, for example, old Sturbridge Village in Massachusetts, but instead to leave it alone, to preserve or, quote, stabilize the site and the landscape as they received it from the Draytons. So that's why you don't see restored gardens, reconstructed outbuildings like slave quarters or tenant buildings or farm buildings. Instead, you see it more or less we received it as from the Draytons in 1974. And that allows us to show the changes in continuity that occurred here on the site over successive generations. And we've heard from visitors time and time again how much they have appreciated that approach. Sustaining Drayton Hall requires a rigorous business model. We're like a small business. Our operating budget is $2.3 million a year. We have about 20 salaried employees and about 10 or 15 hourly employees. A number of volunteers help us out as well. We can't sustain that kind of operation from gate receipts alone. And like so many historic sites, we have to be entrepreneurial. We have a museum shop. We have a membership program that's very engaged in Drayton Hall. We have 6,500 members who contribute to Drayton Hall from across the nation, even overseas. They support Drayton Hall because they've been here, they've seen our product, and wish to support our project by investing in it as a member. And we also have donors as well, significant donors. We encourage businesses to support us as well. We're fortunate that we do have an endowment, and that helps significantly in our work. We do not receive any support, any cash support from the National Trust or cash support from the government. Some people think that these historic sites like Drayton Hall, that we somehow just manage to be supported by the government or some wealthy donor or some way. No, we have to operate just as a small business and be entrepreneurial in order not just to survive, but to increasingly enhance the products that we offer to our visitors and to the wider public. Historic sites like Drayton Hall play a significant role in our community. Just take the Ashley River plantations along the way. We attract a total attendance of around 250,000, which makes a significant difference here in the Church of the Charleston economy. And I think if you were to add up the budgets of Middleton Place, Magnolia, and Drayton Hall, it would total between $10 and $15 million right there. So that contributes a lot of dollars. Just those three sites by themselves, three businesses, if you will, by themselves, contribute significant means of ways of employment, dollars, sales, and we bring people to the area. Also, we contribute in significant ways to education. Drayton Hall itself educates about 8,000 students a year. Most of these students are from public schools, and they come from across the state, across South Carolina, and also from up and down the East Coast. We've even had students coming from Michigan. Middleton, Magnolia, and other historic sites or historic house museums like those operated by the Historic Charleston Foundation or Charleston Museum, they operate the same way. We offer a range of benefits to the public beyond just having a paid, gate admission. And then we've also made a significant impact on the Ashley River region. If you take a shot across the river, you'll see marsh and woods. But that was zoned at 22 units an acre. And so we could have been looking at apartments across the way, but thanks to the Friends of Drayton Hall, our members and donors, they stepped up and raised the money so we could buy that land. So you have that wonderful scenic view today, and not only the visual pollution, but the noise pollution that would come from those apartments across the way. And then up and down the Ashley River, we made a significant benefits. We were one of the players, not the only, but we played a significant role in the stopping of the mega development Watson Hill that was going to put 5,000 houses just past Middleton Place. And that would have turned the Ashley River Road into gridlock. So we managed, thanks to the support of a lot of allies and concerned political leaders, we were able to stop that. And now Midwest Vaco has a conservation-minded solution for that property.